Good day, everybody. This is Jay LaPlante. I'm the Executive Director and Director of Programming for Miami-Dade College's Miami Film Festival. This is a pre-recorded interview that we are going to premiere on Friday, July 17th, in celebration of the new film from Germany, ZORO'S Solo. And I am joined today by the director of the film, Martin Busker. So welcome, Martin.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So ZORO'S Solo had its Florida premiere at the Miami Film Festival in March, before the festival was prematurely cut short by the coronavirus crisis. So we were delighted to be able to present it. And this weekend, for 72 hours only, we are presenting an encore of that film online in Miami Film Festival Virtual Theater on Vimeo VOD. So that is available to rent in the US only for this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can visit miamifilmfestival.com and find a link to rent the film. And I really encourage you to do it. It's a wonderful film. One of my personal favorites in this year's lineup. So the film, it was really a wonderful discovery. It's a story of a young Afghan boy, about 13 years old, who has recently escaped a troubling situation in Afghanistan with his family and settled in a fictional town in the movie in southwest Germany. During the course of his family's escape, he and his mother were separated from his father, who has been caught in Germany and was unable to cross the border with them. So Zoro, the name of the Afghan boy, is troubled by this situation, and he has an encounter with a boys' choir leader, whose name is Mrs. Lehman. And she is a middle-aged, white Anglo-Saxon traditional German lady who is increasingly annoyed that the refugees in her town are taking over some of her rehearsal spaces in her church. And it sets up a conflict between the two characters. So when Zoro learns that that the choir is going to be going to Hungary for a competition, he privately schemes to join the choir and thus be reunited with his father. So there's a lot more to the story than that, but that's the basic premise. And it's a wonderful movie in many ways because it's addressing some very serious issues that are happening in the world right now, but does so in a very entertaining, often comic way. So Martin, my first question was really about that. I mean, taking these very serious subjects of xenophobia and even homophobia and sexism, you address many, many very troubling topics. And it's a comedy, so that's a very unusual approach. Could you start off by telling us what was your personal interest in tackling this subject and why you chose the method that you did?
Well, when I left film school in 2012, I thought a long time about what would my first feature film be, because I started off in directing comedy series for German television, and I really liked that, and I earned good money, so why should I stop? And I had a few ideas for scripts, but nothing took really off. And then 2015, the refugee crisis in Germany happened, and that changed all, because this wasn't just people who fled to Germany to seek asylum. You have to picture really hundreds of thousands of people at the railway stations, in the city centers, families with little kids, all their belongings in plastic bags. And this was something that really changed everything in Germany. And I knew this is my topic. I really have to address that. And then we started to work on the script.
Okay. And how did the idea of telling it as a kind of a family comedy come about? How did you censor on these characters?
Well, my directing style is always trying to get the fun out of very tragic situations. And the topic of the refugee crisis was really intense for the people in Germany. So nobody wanted to watch a movie about that because the news have been full from dawn till dusk. Was it the right way? Yeah. And you couldn't really look anywhere, refugees everywhere. So nobody wanted to watch a movie about that topic anymore in Germany. So I knew I had to find an approach that is entertaining and yeah, funny to bring a good evening to the people in the cinema, where you can have your popcorn and everything is great, but still addresses a very important thing and goes and really I try to explore the depth of the topic in the most entertaining way I can. I hope I could describe it well, because when we started to try to finance the movie, everyone said, forget it. It's not working. Refugees, so the piece is dead. You cannot do it. And we fought for it, and we tried to convince people to give us their money, and we succeeded.
It's wonderful. Thank you. So one of the things that I most admire about the film is that it's actually very edgy in many ways for being a family comedy. You play with a fear that many people have of refugees, that they will cause conflict, and in fact that's what happens in the story. What was the reaction in Germany when you showed the film, and what has the response been?
First of all, I just jumped off a bicycle. I hope you don't mind that I get off some sweat from time to time. Well, for me, it was very important to do the movie too romantic, to just say, oh, these are great people, they can influence our culture, let's have a warm welcome and applaud at the railway stations, what a lot of people did, including me, I have to admit. But a lot of people have been very afraid of what could happen. And a lot of things happened as well. The crime got up. It was hard to find shelter for really over 1 million people. And we had to close schools to let people sleep in the classrooms. And so there has been a lot of conflict among the people. And I wanted to address these conflicts. This is why Zorro is the biggest nightmare of a right-wing German. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
And Miss Lehmann is the biggest nightmare of a left-wing German. She's really not a bit better than Zorro. So I wanted to start the movie with the contrast of the two worst people you can imagine that need to become friends to rise to a new level. And that worked very well. Well, we have been afraid that there will be a kind of shitstorm because, as you said, the movie is a little bit edgy and the dialogue sometimes is very political incorrect, but the people loved it. So
that's good. You did a phenomenal job. And I should point out that this is actually your first feature film, as you mentioned, that you've been working in television since you graduated from film school. So even more congratulations. You really hit a really perfect tone for the story, and really congratulate you. So I think the success of this story and the success of your work really hinges a lot on casting. How did you cast first of all the part of Zorro? How did you find such a perfect child for this role? And it's a great performance, by the way.
Yeah, it is. But let me start with Miss Lehmann, because I knew that if I want to convince people for the story or for funding my movie, it had to be a very famous actress. And Andrea Sawatzki, she was a perfect match for Miss Lehmann. And I thought about her a lot when writing the script with my co-writer. And I was very happy that she said immediately yes. So we sent the script, and I think 3 hours later, she was absolutely well, she called me and said, "It's awesome. I want to do it. I don't need money or something. Just let me have the piece." And yeah, that worked great. But then we had the big challenge of find this Zorro, a boy who's 13 years old, who is professional, who has a migration background, who can play the soft parts of the story, but even the hard shell, the concrete shell boy, yeah, that really struggled in war, who has faced a lot of stuff on his journey to Germany. And I really wanted someone who really has this potential, this bandwidth, yeah, because I worked a lot with refugee kids when writing the script, and I knew what happened to them. We really have to convey that in the feelings of Zorro. So we started a casting, a very, very big casting for German style. Yeah, normally you go to an agency, there are 10 boys, and you say, well, let's try it with him. But we knew there is no one in an agency. We really have to find a talent who can play this character. And we casted at least 500 boys in front of the camera until we found Mert Dinscher, who's absolutely remarkable, and who was not only good in front of the camera, but was professional, because I only had 25 shooting days for this film. And you know how it is with kids in leading roles. This is not enough, yeah? You know that we have very strict laws, like most likely in the United States, it's the same, that you cannot shoot long hours with kids. So we had 25 short days. So this was all about rehearsing before shooting starts and really try to do one take after the other. And that worked really well with both of them.
That's great. That's great. Thank you. So how did Meta relate to his character? How did he find that character? Could you tell us a little bit about that? I mean, it's so remarkable how natural he is, and just how much you believe that he's this kid.
Well, I can tell you, he's nothing like Zorro. So when he first came into casting in the first round, after 2 minutes, I said, okay, get rid of him. He's too nice, too soft, he doesn't look like a boy from Afghanistan. Yeah, it's not working. Yeah, but he said, let me try it. And when he started acting, and this is not a normal thing with kids, often you look for talent, for people who can play themselves in front of a camera in that young age. But he really had the talent to get into this character. And then he started to take gym lessons, and he got boxing lessons, and he really tuned himself up. And in the third or fourth round of the casting, it was absolutely clear that he's perfect. I haven't seen it myself on first look. So he absolutely fought for that.
That's great. Oh, wonderful. Can you tell me about the choice to set the story in a fictional town rather than a real town, and the area of Germany that you shot, or the real town that's related to the fictional town? Is that representational of a kind of epicenter of the refugee crisis that's evolved, or why that choice?
Well, so first of all, that was not my idea to fictionalize the name of the town. The town didn't want to have its name in the movie, so they were afraid, because everyone who touched the topic about refugee crisis was always like, "Oh, don't do something wrong. This could blow up." So they were afraid. So when the movie was finished and we had a big screening in that city, the mayor told me, well, this was a big mistake for us that we didn't call it the real way. But I decided to set it in a small town like that in the south of Germany, because this is really the epicenter of the refugee crisis, because most of the people enter German borders in the south. The south is very traditional. You all know Bavaria, maybe Munich, and all these traditional people who live there. And I wanted a setting like that is really absolutely old-fashioned German, very like 300 years old. Nothing has changed there since then. And then suddenly half of the population in a town like that is from Afghanistan or something, or Syria. And this really happened there. We didn't have to fictionalize that. There was a big refugee camp, not the one we shot in. This was a real school in Besigheim we shot, and every morning we had a bus which drove to the real refugee camp, picked up the refugees who were bored as hell there because they had nothing to do, and they were absolutely happy to be part in a movie. And then we had breakfast together, and then we started making this movie for like 6 weeks or so. And this was normal life in this town that, old-fashioned traditional Germans had to get on one level with these people who are absolutely the same like them, but it's hard to find out on which point you can really meet and get to know each other better.
Oh, that's a great story. I love it. And that's the true value of your film is that humanistic meeting point where we do realize how much alike that we are. So I really encourage everyone watching to rent the film. Everyone in the United States, of course, to rent the film this weekend. It's the refugee issue is a worldwide issue, and even though this very specific story to Afghanistan and Southwest Germany, I think that it is absolutely universal in terms of what's going on, and everyone in every country can learn something and enjoy ZORO'S solo. So last question, Martin, where is the film now on its journey? I know that it's been released in Germany and it's available there digitally. How about the rest of the world? Can you tell us where the film's at now and where it's going?
Well, it's a really small movie, so we don't have a lot of distribution effort or money, or we don't have people who really work on that. So we have this little festival tour in the United States, what really goes very well. But if there is anyone out there who really likes the movie and thinks this should be on television, DVD, or in the cinema you like, please contact us, because we want to have the film everywhere. As you said, it's absolutely universal. And what's most important to me is that this movie shows what happened in Germany, that you really can grow to one, like people who are completely different, who think, I cannot stand a family like that, Muslims, oh my God, I'm afraid, that we really in Germany managed to grow together to something new. We have like 1.5 million refugees here right now, and it works very well. And I cannot encourage other people enough to be open, to not to be afraid of people who don't share the same religion as you have or the same values. In the end, we are all humans and need the same things. So I hope you find this in the movie and it can influence a lot of people out there.
Well said, Martin. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for your illuminating comments, but most of all, thank you for this beautiful and wonderful film.
Thanks for your support.